How it's going, YouTube? My name is Marco, and today we are going to talk a little bit about Next 15 after function. So I just created a Next 15 project with the empty flag. So you can create the project with this command. Let's run next 15, no, next 15 after. And yes, no. So with the project created, we can do next 15 after, we enter, let me open Tmax, let me open new again, and now we have the code here. So pretty simple project, okay, with the empty flag, we only get the basic stuff. And okay, so after function, the let me show you the code so it's better to explain. So first let's do API after test, and then we do while.yes. In here we can do an export, async function get with the request of type request, and we can return next response.json, and we can do message, and the message we can do hello and do something like request.headers get, and user agent. Okay, now I have an API, simple API on Next. Let's try on Zen. So if I do this, okay, it's not running, sorry. Let's go and then run that, and now we have it. Refresh, 1, 2, 3, and we can see our user agent. Okay, this is simple. Let's do one thing, which is we are going to say console log, and then say route is done. Route is done. And then if you can, and then if you go here, you're going to see the message. So let's go one, refresh, route is done. Okay, so but let's say you want to do something that's a bit heavy, and you don't want to take time from the route. So you can use the after function from next server. So it's really nice. It's a very simple implementation. It just receives a function. It can be a void function, but it can be also a promise function. So you can do something like this. So you're gonna do await, and then you can do calculate heavy. And then you can define it here, right? So async function calculate heavy, and then what I'm going to do is, let's say, let's go and do heavy start, and heavy end. And in the middle, let's do one thing. Let's do some HTTP calls, right? So let I equals 0, then I minus equals 35. Let's do that. 35. No, let's do better. I think I wanna do 15, and await fetch. So let's test it, right? So if I go back here, refresh, you see route is done, then heavy starts, and we are going to wait a little bit, and we're going to see heavy ending. So this is the basic for the after function, and let me show you. Okay, let's create another API, send email, and this one is going to be very similar. Let's copy this one here, let's paste it. We are going to call it send email for this one, and we wanna do a, let's say, post, and here let's clean it. But we need to also create, yeah, so here we need to install NodeMailer. So npm install NodeMailer, and then let me continue here. So return NodeMailer dot create transporter, and we do host, And here's the part that is important: smtp ethereal.email. The port we're going to use is this one, auth, and then we use the test. So user test account dot user and pass test account dot pass. Don't need this, and we need to import. Sorry. Okay, to import node mailer, I think we need to do this node mailer. Okay. So how I write the send email? This is a pretty simple example. So let me do the basics. Only transporter. We do await create transporter, and then we need to do info, which is await transporter.send email. I think send mail. Then we do from. Node mailer dot get test message URL, because URL info, and we need to return it. And okay, true. Okay, for the two, I'm gonna use this email const email equals. Let's do first body await request.json, and then we do const email equals body, and that's it. Now we have it, or our API. Let me do email will be sent shortly. Okay, so the goal here, I'm using TypeScript, so let's do this. Okay, ignore this, I can fix later. But the goal here is to send an email, and the email is not gonna take time from the main thread, because it's gonna be executed on a separate thread with the after function. Okay, so we are gonna see, let's do a console here, so console.log, and then we see the message. Okay, so I found a little bug. We need to fix this, create transport instead of transporter. And then we can go to Insomnia. We have here the API already added, and basically we just need to send the email on the body. So let's do it. We did. Email will be sent shortly. We can get route is done. We can see that route is done. The route took 122 milliseconds, and then we can use this URL to access the email on the web. So we can do this, and you are going to see the message. This is the message we define here. This is a test mail using after function. Really nice. Okay, so this is simple, but it's not a real email. So how we can do that? We can do that using some tools, and the tool I'm going to use is resend. Okay, so let me copy this, let me go here and do send email resend, and then we do route.js. Okay, for this one, let's remove this. Let's do this send email. We are gonna clean up, and we're going to have a post. So yeah, we need to install resend. You need to go to resend, set up a free account, and get your API key to make it work, but this is pretty simple. Not gonna cover it here. So now let's see what we need to do here. Here in the bottom, let's keep it the same. Just need to rewrite the send, right? So let's do resend new resend variable, and then we do process dot env dot resend API key, and I will have it on the .env, and then we do await resend.emails.send, and we do from, and then here is a big part because we need to do onboarding at resend.com. Why we need to do that? Because it's a free tool. So subject, we do hello world, and on the HTML we can do anything. So let's do p and then do hello world from resend. We close it, and that's it basically. And let's do console log email sent, and you're going to see that the email is gonna take some time to do it, to be sent actually. Just a note, important note, is that the email you are going to use it here needs to be the one you registered on resend. Okay, just that. So let's click it and see if it's going to work. Okay, we have some problems because I think I did this, I changed it. Email will be sent shortly. And then if we go back here, okay, we are missing the API key. Let me set up the API key. I'm gonna do .env, and then here we are going to do resend. I think I used API key. Okay, API key, and then here you paste your API key. Okay guys, I found an issue here. So instead of .com we need .dev. That's the goal here. And let's try to, okay, let's try here. Let's open the browser. I found, already tested. So let me open Insomnia here on the side, and let me open these here on the other side, and let me switch to here. So when I click, you see that the email is not automatically sent, and even though you see that the route was built, was executed here, and then the email was sent, so it's not blocking. That's the most important thing about the after function. I click again, it takes some time. This is really nice. So let's see if we got the email. Yes, 5 of them. These two, we have one new. So yeah, it's here. Hello world from resend. So guys, this is basically all. You can do anything else. Obviously you can do file logging, you can do anything about file system, which takes some time, right? File system is usually heavy, and you can use this function to help a lot in terms of performance. We can do logging. Logging is very important, and if you want to see some videos on logging, I can help you with Azure logins, or any other type of logins. I can do it. This can be also used with after to increase performance in the APIs. And another note is that we can use after on pages, server pages on Next. And if you want to see something like this, please leave a comment below. Guys, that's all. Thank you. See you soon.